What a statement by Philadelphia. That'll make you put the guns up. Of course, a nice hug for those two that have so much respect for each other. And Jalen Hurts has now won 11 straight games against teams that entered the game over 500. He does this against really good teams. That's tied with Bob Greasy for the third longest streak by any quarterback since 1950 doing this. He's one shy of the record held by Peyton Manning in his final 3 seasons with the Colts and Vinny Testaverde in his first 3 seasons with the Jets. RC, he's not just doing this beating up on teams that are lesser than. It's high-quality opponents.
So
what do you make of Jalen Hurts?
So what you're saying is this is essentially the answer to Michael Parsons' question. Why doesn't Jalen Hurts get the sort of vitriol that he feels Dak Prescott does? It's because in the biggest moments against the best teams, Jalen Hurts is at his best, as we saw in the Super Bowl. And when you look at that last drive, we have 2 opportunities where they go for it on 4th and 1 because they believe that their quarterback and their offensive line can make it happen. And then when it's late in the game and you have to decide whether we're going to make a play and attack or are we going to protect our quarterback, you go deep down the field to A.J. Brown on a double move. They have the ultimate confidence in their quarterback because they've seen him do it over and over again. And since he became this Jalen Hurts, because he wasn't drafted as this guy, he hasn't let this team down. And I look at last night, it's not only a statement drive, but a statement game for him. When you come off of what he endured against the New York Jets, the 3 turnovers, and a team that he found that he couldn't find a way to beat. He comes back the next week against a better opponent and shows up. Yeah,
when you think about the defense for the Eagles, too, we're watching last night thinking, where's this Miami high-powered offense? They were held to 17 points. How'd the Eagles do it?
Line of scrimmage game. And, you know, we talked a few weeks ago. Remember, I think we were together. I said you cut the head off the snake of Miami, and that's probably how you can deal with this offense because we were talking about how they spread you so thin offensively with all of those weapons. The head of the snake is Tua, and this is what's becoming my concern, Dan. When I watch Tua play against teams that are very high pressure, we've talked about the first read and how he doesn't seem like he knows what to do after that's not available. But also, I'm not sure about his playmaking ability outside of structure. The 2 things that has held up in Buffalo game and in the Philly game, we take away your first read. Eyes drop down, rush affects you.
Can I hit on that real quick?
Please.
I don't think your point is off. I think that's attached to the injuries. I think a lot
mentally.
of the, and just knowing don't get hit. Don't get hit. Because what have we said about Tua? Just if you avoid injury, you'll be really good.
That is what causes me the most concern about Miami.
I think that's a good point.
When he has to play out of structure, it looks completely different. Man, when this dude back foot hit the ground and he letting the ball go, it's as beautiful as anything in the league.
Agree.
Outside of that, though, you need more than that in order to win a championship.
Really quick on that, then you're saying it's more so willingness. To do. And that's important to have a feel for that because if it's needed late in the season, he has to be willing to take that chance.
And it's going to be RC.
And maybe he unleashes it then, you know?
And I think this is about adjustments for both Tua and Mike McDaniel. This is the second game we've seen a defensive coordinator. Last night it was Sean Desai for the Philadelphia Eagles have a great plan. The plan was to not kind of interact or adjust off of the motions that we're going to see. So 21 personnel, 2 backs, 1 tight end, okay? Now the Eagles, I love this. They decided to play base defense. That means 5 defensive linemen for them, 2 linebackers. Both those guys, or those 3 guys in the middle, Marcus, you see them covering the guards in the center. Now the motion comes. What do? This is Josh Sweat at the slot. He's going to hit the slot right away at the line of scrimmage. I love what they do here. Inside linebacker, where the Eagle logo is, you get depth. Sweat, you get width. No one's reacting to the motion. They're just making sure to take away the throw and the lateral. Sweat out in space. Tyreek Hill catches it 8 yards behind the line of scrimmage. That's for no gain. Second thing, this is their bread and butter play, right, guys? This is the rail route, the slant, and then the flat. I love what they did at the end man line of scrimmage. That's the conflict guy. They told him, don't play in conflict. Go get the quarterback. Force the ball to come out of his hands. Linebacker, do not pay attention to the run. Go laterally for that slant, and then that forces 1 throw. Ball to the sideline, that equals 3rd and 3 now instead of a huge gain. Simulated pressures, they walk people up into the line of scrimmage. I love the fact that they forced Tua just to play a second slower. Who's coming, who's not coming. As those droppers get out, right now, watch the slot near the bottom of the screen. The ball would be out right now if it was Tua, if he wasn't looking at those droppers. But he's a hesitation second late that allows Darius Slay to fall off, and then there's an incomplete pass. So I loved that Sean Desai said, 21 personnel, we're going to play base. We're going to walk Josh Sweat out and be physical at the line. Just take away that first throw linebacker, Sweat, you played horizontally, and then that forced vision, and then that second clip. I love the fact that they took away that number one play and told those defensive linemen, go.
Yep. That Josh Sweat play is exactly what I was just talking about.
Yep.
No quarterback threat run, no threat from his legs on making a play. I can send my defensive end out there.
Yeah.
I don't have to account for it.
He doesn't have to be in space versus two guys, essentially.
Buddy.
So much more coming from these guys throughout the show. Let's get to our top stories today with Adam Schefter, and we begin on the Eagles for a minute. Melissa Stark was asking Jalen Hurts last night after the game if the knee was okay because he played the second half in the knee brace. Adam, what do we know today about his health?
Well, that was the key development there, right, Laura, that he did put that brace on for the second half. And after the game, when he was asked about it, he bristled about being asked and said, I'm fine, not an issue. And so it's not expected to be any type of issue that would prevent him from playing, but the fact of the matter is he was wearing that brace, a big bulky brace, and we'll see if that limits him moving forward. As for the Cleveland Browns and their quarterback Deshaun Watson, went out of the game yesterday against the Colts after suffering a hit on this play, bangs his head. People thought it might have been a concussion. He cleared the concussion test, but did aggravate his rotator cuff bruise. It'll be much like it's been in previous weeks, day-to-day with Watson, with the Browns waiting to see whether or not he can play. And the Chicago Bears already have said that Justin Fields is doubtful for Sunday night's game against the Los Angeles Chargers, which means it looks like undrafted rookie free agent Tyson Bagent will be starting again Sunday night in LA against the Chargers on Sunday Night Football, with Fields out of there and considered doubtful with that dislocated thumb injury.